This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
And now, it's time for the show your mother hates and your father envies. Destroying Kayfabe with CM Styles.
And we are the Spirit Squad!
Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Destroying Kayfabe. I'm your host, CM Styles. And along with me, as always, is one half of Team Show Claw, the Lion Claw, Daniel V. How are you doing today?
And I'm doing pretty good, man. And glad to be here.
Oh, absolutely. Tonight, we usually do our Tuesday night Raw review, but we got something more special than that. As you can see on the screen, we got one of the former members of the Spirit Squad, former WWE superstar, Kenny. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's always an honor to have you on here. Usually we call this the Indie Spotlight, but you are the Superstar Spotlight. We're going to go ahead and take about 20, 30 minutes of your time. One of the biggest questions is, where have you been? Ever since the fallout in the WWE, we saw the promos, how you were pretty much underestimated, underutilized backstage, and how the WWE did not care about you. Yes, we did the homework. Where have you been?
Well, right now I'm in Worcester, Massachusetts. It's currently the closest city that I live to. But, I mean, I still do wrestling from time to time, but I dabble in many other things as well. I work with kids on the autism spectrum. I have a children's book as well, so I'm an author. Let's see. I've done some MMA grappling contest. And most recently I did a men's physique contest at a natural bodybuilding.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Especially with the kids book. I have 4 kids of my own, and I saw your book on Amazon actually, and I got to get my hands on that book here when I get paid. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so the kids book came about. I lived in Virginia. It was about 2009. I remember I saw like an incident where a girl committed suicide. It was teen. And I didn't know the girl, I didn't know her family, I didn't know her friends, I had no connection whatsoever. But I remember it bothered me, and I was thinking like, what can I do about that? How can I help? So then I, did some research, and I saw that schools, they don't have to teach about bullying. At the time, they didn't have to. So that's when I decided, well, if I write a book, then it's going to kind of like squeeze in the back door of the education system. Then they would read the book and then have to talk about bullying. So it was more just like, it was like a bucket list thing too as well. I wanted to be an author at some point in my life, but I wasn't exactly sure how I'd go about it. And then this kind of led the way for that. So that's what it's about. It's an anti-bullying kids book called Billy's Bully. It rhymes throughout. I'm no Dr. Seuss, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, I'll definitely get my hands on it. Lion Claw, I know you got some questions that you would like to ask. Oh.
Roll Tide, tuned out.
He just messaged me. He said his audio went out. We'll get back with him here in a minute. I'll call him back. While I'm here, let's talk about your time in the WWE. What was that like?
It was cool. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on which time, because like I started up my first time in WWE. I was 16. I was a junior in high school, and I did what I would do is like when I started wrestling at 13 at Kowalski's up in Boston. That's where I started training. I would record everything, and I would just send it to the WWE. And I knew at the time it was horrible, and I was probably 13-year-old kid, probably doesn't look like they want to see any of that. But I would just send everything, and I always had the mentality of eventually something's going to give way. So then one day when I got home from high school, my mom was like, "Hey, you got a phone call from Stanford." So I went and looked at it, and I checked the voicemail, and it was Dr. Tom.
Oh.
So then Dr. Tom Pritchard called, so I called him back, and he's like, "How old are you?" And I said, "I'm 16. He's like, "Are you good at math?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm all right." He's like, "Add 2 to your date of birth." He's like, "You're going to be 18. He's like, "Next week I need you in Philly on Monday, and then Baltimore on Tuesday." And I was like, "Is this really Dr. Tom?" And he's like, "You called Stanford, didn't you?" And I said, "All right, cool." So my time there, it was great. Like, it was nerve-wracking, though, because you're 16, lying about it, saying you're 18. And then I didn't think I was going to do anything, but every single time that I went up in a dark match role, I would end up on TV. So, like, the first time I worked Rodney Mack, I did the White Boy Challenge. And then I worked Lance Storm on Sunday Night Heat, or Ultimo Dragon on Velocity, or Tajiri, or something like that. So it was cool. It was a learning experience at first. So
Yeah.
it was very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I remember right before you started with the Spirit Squad, you did a battle rap with John Cena.
Oh, see, everybody said that, but that wasn't me.
Really? Because everywhere I looked online, it said that was you.
I think just because there's a resemblance.
Oh, see, that's the crazy thing, because I see this. And we got a pause moment.
So, is someone calling me?
It says paused. There we go.
Okay, yeah, I think somebody was calling me.
But yeah, I remember seeing it. I believe it was a Sunday Night Heat. They had this guy outside battle rapping with John Cena, and I was looking. I was like, I didn't know who the guy was, but everyone was starting to do their homework, and they're putting 2 and 2 together. And they're like, oh, that's Kenny from the Spirit Squad. So being the guy I am, believing with the IWC, I'm like, all right, it's Kenny. But
yeah, everybody says that, but no, it really wasn't. Weird how that works, but that's the internet. You can't believe everything you read.
Yeah.
If you look at my Wikipedia, it says my middle name is George, and that's false.
Yeah, I don't trust Wikipedia. So, but Cole, are you still there?
Yes, I am still here.
All right. Now I know you like to ask some questions.
Oh yes. Now I've read that you started in the WWE. Like you said, when you were at a young age. I mean, that must have been a whirlwind. I also read that you were up playing college football now.
Yeah, I did. I played for 2 years, so that was fun. That was a bucket list thing as well. It was just like, when I got out of high school, I had the opportunity to go to college or sign with the WWE, and I ended up signing with the WWE because I didn't want that opportunity to pass. I mean, typically you would say follow school, stick with school, but I realized school would always be there, but I didn't know if WWE would be there in the long run.
Now, the next question that comes in from our user, Lady Nay, she wants to know, why did you leave the WWE?
I think it was just at the time there was nothing there creative-wise. I mean, they have different expectations or different goals or different routes that they're going to go with certain things creative. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I know as well when I tore my knee, I know that was a big problem as well. So that was out for quite a while.
Yeah, once an injury happens like that and they don't have nothing for you, they keep you on the sidelines, and more than likely, if they don't have anything, they either release you or you request for a release, and then after that, you just move forward.
Once I returned from the knee, though, it wasn't bad because I got to work with a lot of people. What I ended up doing was traveling, doing house shows, and I would work with all the guys that you would see up there, like DiBiase, Rhodes, R-Truth. there was a few other guys, a bunch of other guys that ended up going up there. Manu, so I got the opportunity to work with them as they came up from developmental. And that I actually found a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It made me feel older than I am, really.
Yeah. Speaking of developmental, what was it like being in the Spirit Squad, feuding with DX, and then ended up being shifted in a box, going back to OVW?
Yeah, that was a weird, like, it was one of their, like, inside joke things, but see, I think, like, only diehard fans got it. I don't know that the common fan would have gotten any of it, you know? But it was good press for OVW. I was hoping that, like, maybe they would start airing the show there or something, but...
Yeah, and I know right after all that happened, it went from being OVW to FCW because they changed territories.
Yeah, that happened real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, they did have two at one point. They had Atlanta and they had Louisville. And then Atlanta moved to Tampa, and then Louisville ended up going to Tampa too. But I think, is Louisville now for TNA?
I think they parted ways.
Yeah,
I think Danny Davis
sold,
wanted
yeah,
nothing
I think
to do
they
with
sold their
TNA
stock.
anymore.
Yeah, they sold their shares in them.
And speaking of that, didn't you have a tryout with TNA at one time?
Yeah, that was... TNA has great talent.
Yeah.
I'll give them that much. They do have great talent. But the only problem is they don't pay their talent enough. So, like, I'm very business-oriented. So they called me and they wanted to book me for a tryout match. So I said, okay, that's fine. So they flew me in. They put me in a hotel. They paid me, all that stuff. It was great. And then afterwards, I went out with Flair and Bischoff, and they were saying, like, oh, you need to get hired. Like, they need to hire you. And I thought, well, if you wanted that to happen, I'm sure you guys could make that happen. So then they wanted to book me again, like 2 weeks later, for another dark match, tryout match. And I said, okay, whatever, that's cool. And then a week before, they called me and said, well, we're not paying for your flight, we're not paying for your hotel, and you're going to have to work for free.
Screw that.
Yeah, like, I wrote the most politically correct letter just saying that I'm not at a point in my career where I'm willing to sacrifice anything to go work for free. You know, if you want to see a clip, I can send you pay-per-views that I made invented. If you really want to see something.
That'd be awesome.
So then, like, a week later, Dixie emailed me and offered me a contract. But the problem was, I calculated it and I wrote it back and I looked it up and I said, let's say that I'm on the weekend 3 days. What it would cost me to rent a car, to pay for my hotel, and eat 3 meals a day. What you're offering me in money, I'd essentially come home with maybe $50 to $100. I said, that's not a contract. That's not even. I said, that's a joke. And she said, well, you get to be on TV. And I said, well, I would rather be, I'd rather live and not be on TV than be a homeless person on TV, living off of the money that you're trying to give me. So I worked out with that company.
Absolutely. Claw.
Yeah, we have a question from our friend Brenda on IRC. She's in Nova Scotia, Canada, and she's a big wrestling fan. She asked, do you keep in touch with anybody, like Dolph Ziggler? I'm going by his stage name, of course, but do you keep up with any of those guys?
I always tell him that if he's gonna have a big match, let me know so I can watch it. I mean, because they know how long they're going, or if it's gonna be a big pay-per-view, or if it's gonna be something big, let me know because I'd like to watch it. But the whole, it's funny is the whole squad is on like a group text message, so it'll be we'll get some random texts from each other throughout the course of the day, the week. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah, and I know Mike Mondo is actually working ROH still somewhere. From what I saw, I saw pictures of Mikey actually at ROH events. He was working a couple of those. I'm not sure if he's still working it now, but I'm assuming he's still under contract with them, or it's on a pay per appearance.
I think it's one of those paid per appearances, but I will say this: out of everybody I've wrestled my entire career, and I've been doing this now 16 years, he is the most talented wrestler there is, hands down.
Yeah, I gotta say, I saw some of his matches on YouTube because everyone loves leaking these matches, and it's like I saw him out there, and he's a beast. I'm just like, God. I was like, the WWE underutilized all of you.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but whatever. Business is business.
Yeah.
But he is the most talented wrestler I've ever been in the ring with. And luckily, he gets to be my tag partner. Like, it makes my life so easy when we do shows.
Nice. So, after, while being in the WWE, how were politics backstage? Because I hear that it's a brutal SOB. Being,
I think when it all comes out, it could be, but like you never like see it full forward. I mean, I think there's politics in every business, really.
yeah,
I think it's just knowing. I mean, I was more of just a laid back, chill. I didn't really. I mean, being young up there, you don't really know the political game. I mean, I like playing pranks, but that wasn't really any political.
yeah. I remember all the hazing that went on backstage, and if you're a top guy and you haze the younger guy, and the younger guy fought back, don't expect your career to, take an uplift. Um,
The best prank we ever did was to the Big Show.
oh
I don't know if
Jesus!
that ever made it online, but we were doing a house show, and we were the tag champs, but we were working Big Show and Kane. And Ziggler at the time, he had, you can get food before you go. And I was like, hey, you gonna eat the rest of that sandwich? Because he stopped at Subway. And he's like, well, yeah, why? And I said, I got an idea. And so Mitch, he's from Texas, and I was like, can you make a lasso? And he's like, yeah, easily. So we put a giant lasso with a microphone cord that we got from the ring truck.
Oh
We put it in the
boy!
middle of the ring and we put the sandwich in there. And the whole crowd was watching. You got like 10,000 people watching, laughing because they realized what we're trying to do. So then Big Show came down and he got in the ring and he saw the sandwich and he's like, oh, very funny. So he threw the sandwich at us, but what he didn't see was the microphone cord. So we started pulling it and it caught his ankle and he fell back and like the ropes caught him. You know, like Rey Mysterio would hit the bottom two ropes?
Oh god! Yeah!
That's kind of what Big Show did.
Oh
And Kane
Jesus!
just looked around and Kane just started laughing. So then, like, the first 5 minutes of the match, he legit chased us around the ring. And he was legit mad. Then he got in the middle of the ring and he's like, the whole match just changed. He's like, everything that we talked about in the back, forget it. And he's yelling this to the crowd. And the crowd was like, oh, like, this is going to be real.
Oh man! I wish I would have been at that house show.
No, it was great. He shocked the hell out of us.
Claw.
Yes. Now that they have these new people coming up from NXT and they got a lot of indie wrestlers, who would you like to face that you see now? The current superstars.
Oh, man. There's so many. Like, it's weird. Sometimes I go back there and everybody looks at me like I'm an old man. It'd be hard to say, honestly. I don't know. Hulk Hogan. Just kidding.
Not in the WWE, brother.
Yeah, it won't be there. I don't know.
And I'm glad you mentioned Hogan. The whole entire thing. My good old buddy Assad was asking me. He's like, ask about Hulk Hogan. Ask about the situation that's going on with his whole racist thing. What are your thoughts on that? Not only that, now earlier today, another thing surfaced where he's anti-gay. What are your thoughts on? Yeah.
Oh, man. You know what? Some of those old guys, they have that old mentality. Like, I don't know. It's just, I think it's not a good thing. I don't think there's any place for racism or sexism or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Really. But, I mean, it just would be an old way. Like, I've heard crazy stories about some of the legends being racist. And, like, I know that there was a problem before with, it may have been, I can't say for sure, but it may have been one of the Freebirds or something who made a comment to another African American wrestler. Who knows?
Yeah, it's sad.
Agendas, I guess.
It's sad that it's happening right now at the peak of his career. He just came back to the WWE about, a year and a half ago, 2 years.
Yeah, you know what? I was wondering too, like him coming back at that age. I feel like they would have put the title on him.
Hey, TNA did. Well, almost did anyway.
He can drop a leg.
Drop a leg, and then next thing you know, he'd be getting another back surgery, and it's like, oh no, brother. Yeah, it's.
So like he's done for life, huh? Is he banned? Is he gone?
From the WWE, he's been pretty much tarnished. They don't want nothing to do with Hogan anymore. Ever since that leaked video from 3 years ago surfaced just now, which is the sad thing. All this stuff happened prior to his WWE arrival, and it's just starting to spread like wildfire.
Well, I feel like, see, but this isn't what's crazy to me is this isn't the first thing that's happened. There's been other things that have happened before that just didn't make it to mainstream media that we knew, but it just, like, I don't know. That's why I was surprised that they cut off all ties, because this isn't the first time stuff like this has happened.
Yeah.
It happens with writers or with whatever, making comments towards certain wrestlers, and then, that person would be suspended or something. But that was about the extent of it. But I think in today's day and age, now, present day 2015, I think they're just trying to make an example out of somebody.
Absolutely. And of course, I was reading over the sheets today that, he's just got removed from WWE 2K16. They're taking him off the roster, replacing him with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, Schwarzenegger's going to be a DLC in the game. They're going to have 2 versions of him. The T-800 from Terminator 2 and the new Terminator from the new movie that just came out a couple months ago. So, yeah.
Why didn't they just replace him with Mr. USA? What was that character?
Oh, Mr. America.
Mr. America.
Yeah, oh my God, that would have been great.
Just put the mask on.
I'm sure they'd do that. That would make some money right there. But yeah, and on top of that, Mattel just removed him from production. They don't want to scan line him anymore, and they don't want to sell his Hogan figures or anything like that. So Hogan really became a huge bust over these last couple of days.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's sad to see. I mean,
plus
he was
$50 million lost in stock. I'm like, oh my God, Hogan caused a lot of controversy.
Wait, who lost stock? WWE lost
The
stock?
WWE lost $50 million because of Hogan.
Well, they'll make it back with John Cena.
Yeah.
You think they have insider trading there?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, they own the stock. So, I was thinking about this the other day. They own the stock, right? Clearly, it's WWE.
Yep.
However, they know that when they bring in certain superstars, that stock is now going to rise.
Absolutely.
They know when to sell and when to buy, and they kind of control it too. Because if I bring in this superstar and this superstar, I know that the stock's going to go up. So,
yeah,
it's almost like a weird form of it.
It's just insane that
trading, but it's just
at this day of age, things like this happen. And the thing is, it happens everywhere, like you pretty much would say. It just couldn't happen to any guy other than Hogan. It just.
Yeah, I feel like had it happened to like a different performer, it probably wouldn't have been so big.
Exactly.
It definitely would have been so big.
And of course, we all know about the backstage of the WWE, how they are. I don't know if it's true or not, but that they're high on racism and everything, not pinning or crowning a black world champion and everything and all that stuff.
Well, watch now they have to.
Pretty much, because that'd be like the pot calling kettle black right in front of you.
Right? Tell me about it. Hey, what happened to Lashley? Where'd he go?
Yeah. But yeah, now you have this fitness program as well, I believe.
Yeah, I do like my own blog, KennDoaneFit.com, and pretty much it's just like free advice. A lot of people will email me and write me or stop me in the gym or something and ask for different things. So I figured if that many people actually have an interest, maybe I'll start writing about it. So it's free.
Yeah, that's great.
Keep it free. I always plan to keep it free. There's no.
Yeah, because if I'm going to go to anybody about some workout tips, I'm definitely coming to you. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, man. Check it on out.
Because, like I said prior to the show, I'm a round guy now. I used to be built. I had like almost an 8-pack because of what I did in my military career.
I got a cake protecting my 6-pack here. I need to work that off a bit.
The only 6-pack you see me having now is the one I carry around my hand all the time, and that's pretty much it.
That's not a bad 6-pack.
I can go for a 6-pack right now, but I don't think Daily News or Daily Wrestling News and CheapHeat.com would actually prefer that on a live show. So I got to thank those guys for that. Claw, any other questions?
Yes. Since you're around the Massachusetts area, I was wondering, that whole thing about Tom Brady, breaking his phone and everything. What's your whole thought about the whole Deflategate scandal. While we're on the topic of scandals with Hogan, so I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
As soon as I heard about the phone breaking, it made me think of Aaron Hernandez when he would break the cameras in his house and stuff. Like, what is it with us New Englanders breaking devices, electronics?
Yeah, what do you got to hide?
Yeah, I know. But at the same point, I think the part that gets me is like they're going to suspend him 4 games because they think that breaking his phone is evidence. Greg Hardy is suspended 4 games for beating up his girlfriend. How like how do you take 4 games for beating up a girl and then 4 games for letting air on football? How does that? You know what I mean? Like Brady would have had a better chance if he punched a football off camera in an elevator because he would have got 2 games. Like,
yeah, the NFL and its whole rules and all that, it's just, it makes no sense.
They contradict themselves a lot, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't want them to lose any games. We need him. We're Super Bowl champs, man.
We got a few minutes left here on the show. Claude, any other questions that you would like to ask?
Well, another one from Brenda. So what else do you like to do? You know, like in spare time, you know, outside wrestling and football and.
I have a pretty full schedule this semester. Upcoming, I'll be starting my master's courses. So in 2 years, I'll graduate with 2 masters, MBA and an MSOL. And then, I mean, my days are pretty busy. I try to go to the gym first thing in the morning, anywhere from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Sometimes the latest I'll go is like 7 a.m., but I know that's still early. But I'll do that, and then I work with kids on the autism spectrum, so I'll work with them during the day. And then if I have time, I will go back to the gym. But other than that, I mean, I'm pretty busy. I keep things going. Keep a pretty consistent life.
Yeah. And my final question for the evening, everybody wants to know this one, and that's for sure. Your feelings on John Cena?
I think he's a very hard-working man. I really do. I think, like, the Make-A-Wish stuff is amazing. I mean, I think that's great. You know what's funny is I've built up this huge, like, feud with this. But people buy into it, and I think it's crazy because it's just, you know. I mean, if you're gonna start a feud, you start at the top, right? So why pick anybody else? So to me, it works, and people buy into it. You know, it's the power of the internet. People are going to believe what you're out there. So.
Yeah, because I remember hearing about all the stories. You know, I've read all the other, you know, podcast reviews on how they talked about you, John Cena. Of course, at that time you were engaged to Mickey James and all the other crazy stuff. And I was like, everyone knew that something bad was going to go down. And I'm just like, all right. And everyone's like, just please ask him one time. How does he feel about the guy, you know? Let bygones be bygones.
A very hard-working person.
Yeah.
You know what they have to do. So.
Absolutely. And, you know, of course, I missed Raw last night, except for the last couple minutes of it. Did you see him take that knee to the face?
No, I saw it on the end when I saw the shot of it.
Yeah, he's being memed everywhere now, and it's like, you know, I'm not a John Cena guy, although everyone laughs at me because I have his album and his spinning title, and I don't have any merchandise. But
Shawn Michaels used to have an album too.
Really?
Yeah, in the early '90s, he put out. I think it was done by WWE as well, but.
Jim Johnson in his work. But yeah, I'm pretty much out of questions. Anything else that you'd like to ask before we wrap this up, Claw?
Yeah. Is there any chance we'll see you in a GFW ring?
I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm everywhere, so.
That'd be great. And
ROH.
And if you like to plug yourself, you know, feel free. This is your chance right here. This is your spotlight.
Yeah, definitely. People can follow me at Twitter at Kenn Doane, KENNDOANE. Same thing at Instagram as well. And then my blog, KennDoaneFit.com.
Awesome. I want to thank you for being a part of the show tonight. Hope to have you again here in the future. For everyone else, next Wednesday, we're going to have a very special guest with us. Former Men on a Mission member, Mo, will be on the show.
That's going to be great. I'm tuning
Yeah, we're going to have him. I'm going to contact him later tonight, if not tomorrow morning. Assad got me the information on him, so I'm going to keep in touch with him. I want to catch up with him because I know he's working the indies. That's all I know.
He's got to have some really good stories about Viscera.
Yeah, I miss Viscera. I wish that he didn't die from his heart complication or something like that, or pneumonia. I forget what it was. It just took him down.
Man. I had a room with him one night.
Oh, God. Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back on again, talk some more stories. Or even if you want to tell them right now, you're more than welcome to.
All right, last one from Viscera because his partner's gonna be on there next week. I was staying at the Micro Hotel. It was like in the middle of nowhere, but like it's the type of place that has like a little cushion on the windowsill. But I got a one bed. It was a king bed because I thought it was just me. But Viscera and Chris Masters needed a ride, so I was like, all right, hop in with me. So then when we got there, I figured that they would have other rooms, but the hotel was sold out. So then Masters crashed on the floor, and Viscera was like wedging himself up on the windowsill. And then I just laid on the bed, and I thought, like, no, this is way off. And I was like, I said, you got to take the bed. I'll take the windowsill. And he's like, no, okay, it's your room. And I said, no, dude. I said, you're like 500 pounds, man. I said, you're not even fit for the windowsill. So then he ended up taking the bed. But then Masters was like, hey, what about me? I was like, shut your mouth. Go back to sleep. Stay on the floor. Like, but yeah, this is cool. His girlfriend, she loves me ever since he told her that story. So,
all right, that's an awesome story. Like I said, thanks again for being a part of the show. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday night as we go ahead and interview former WWE star Mo. Until then, I'm CM Styles. This is the Lion Claw Daniel V and Kenn Doane. Everyone have a great evening, and we'll see you later. Good night.
Thanks for tuning in to Destroying Kayfabe. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday for more live Raw results. And make sure to check them out on YouTube and Ustream.tv.